Filthy demon! Your acts shall not go unpunished!
Send every angel in heaven at me! I will not let you touch her again!
My heart. My heart. Aw, James. You would kill any angel just for me. Okay.
Forward deep within, I can't go through it alone, and I won't leave you on your own. I stand before you now and promise you I am not afraid. I will fight and guide the way. We will rise again to glory then, soar into the sky. If you stop and see, then you just might believe.
Sup guys, the name's Randall Dragneel and welcome back to Seduce Me 2, the Demon War. So last we left off, we got some sexy time with James. Hey, yeah, okay, yeah. And we find out Sarah's an angel? Yeah, not so much of a surprise coming from we did Diana's route. And yeah, pretty much saw it coming anyway. Anyways, Rabbit is about to show us something that's probably shocking. And let's see, she was discussing equality with us, but I kind of didn't agree with her. What are your thoughts? Well, I'm gonna show you about Rabbit and her story and stuff, and ask some questions later. So with that, let's continue. As it finally disappeared, it revealed something I didn't expect to see. Is that a collar? In Rabbit's hand was a black and red iron collar, broken around the tag and on the back. This wasn't what sent a wave of shock down my spine, however. Around the inner border were metal spikes, dulled from rust and time, but I could tell that at one point they had been sharp enough to pierce the wearer's neck. What is this? Rabbit placed it on a window with a I placed it on a windowsill with a sigh, staring intently at it in remembrance.
That was my breeding collar.
Breeding collar? I need to give this girl a hug. To be honest, I really do. I really feel bad for her. Breeding collar? I stared wide-eyed at Rabbit, understanding or at least putting together what that could have meant. She was a slave for breeding? As I stared, Rabbit let out a sad chuckle and shook her head.
I was born into a large family of animal demons. Rabbits like myself. However, we weren't born to have normal lives. We were bred to become slaves and servants to people like Diana.
I couldn't believe it. Did Diana own her at one point? It was hard to think about, but Rabbit continued.
I was given just enough to live and survive by my parents until I became an adult. Then I was taken to a breeding brothel with a handful of my brothers and sisters. They said that my magic was desirable to pass to offspring.
Oh my god. Still, I want to hug her. I've heard this before, but still, I want to hug her.
As part of the membership, they welded this onto my neck, hoping to keep me from being disobedient.
I instinctively rubbed my neck. I'm doing the same thing too. Disgusted at the story despite knowing that she was going to be okay in the end.
Of course, when they found out that I was still a virgin, they decided to instead use me to stimulate their clients and male slaves.
This is just messed up. Really messed up. Rabbit ran her hand along her mask that covered her mouth. shutting her eyes and tracing lines over her cheeks and down to her chin.
The day they cut open my mouth was the day Diana rescued me from captivity. I didn't think I was going to survive, let alone have my face become normal ever again. But Diana did everything she could to heal my wounds and reverse what my keepers did to me.
Man. At that moment, Rabbit slipped 2 fingers into her mask and lowered it, revealing 2 scars that traveled from each edge of her lips across her cheeks like a wide smile, and 2 more scars down her jaw, like a puppet's mouth. So basically, she's like Jeff the Killer in a way. Alright then. I covered my mouth, unable to form any words, but unable to stop the gasp that erupted from my throat at the sight. Rabbit quickly covered her mouth with her mask again and looked out the window in longing.
I was brought back here with all of the slaves Diana had freed and was given care. I saw a deep compassion in Diana. She cared about people below her status and wanted everyone to be equal and free. So I joined the rebellion and eventually became a leader alongside her.
Slowly, Rabbit's eyes began to turn from warm and longing to cold and angered.
At least that's what I thought.
What do you mean? Rabbit looked to me and gripped her staff in a white-knuckle grip, gritting her teeth before speaking and answering my question.
As soon as this war is over, Diana will take over and become queen of this world, unifying everyone under her banner. However, with that kind of power, she can change the way my people are treated. But she refuses to use her power to do so. She doesn't understand what we have gone through, what my people have had to endure for eons. We are bred to be slaves, servants, war fodder, and we have no say in the matter.
That's not true, man. That's not true. Diana will do everything in her power to change that, but she can't. The thing is, you can't change something overnight. Like causing us, as soon as becoming leader of the demon world, you can't just place a change overnight saying, oh, we're gonna change, let the animal demons become up in higher ranks, let them not be slaves anymore. That would cause utter chaos and let them to be killed. I agree with Diana in this. I can't see that. As much as I feel sorry for her and her family and everyone, I just can't. I would have to agree with Diana. I just can't see that happening. I'd have to wait up, try to figure out the problem myself before actually passing it on, because I really don't want her and her family and everyone else being killed over something stupid as to free them. I really, really don't want to see bloodshed anywhere. So I would go with Diana, and I would say that she's doing this for her own good. Tell me, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with Diana, or do you agree with Rabbit? Comment down below what you think your opinion is on this matter.
We deserve our freedom. We deserve to be free. We should not be forced to wait for her to come around to it.
I understand, but she's doing it for your own good. What would happen if she let them free and then they were all brutally slaughtered in just one fell swoop by a lot of people that were against this? You would regret your decision. Trust me, Rabbit, you have to agree with Diana on this. She will do it. She will. But now is not the time. I wish she could see that. I really wish Rabbit could see that. This is a really serious matter. Rabbit was very passionate about her desire for her demon kind. It was beyond admirable. However, Diana's warning echoed in my mind, reminding me of what she predicted if she decided to do as Rabbit asked. It was a difficult decision to be in. I understood Rabbit perfectly. Yeah, I do too. But I also became fearful of Diana's prediction. The demon world was a very different playing field than a human world, so I expected demons to be more ruthless about their traditions. That's true. It was hard to think about, but the situation revolved around both ends of the risk spectrum. It was right, but it could be deadly. See? Rabbit shook out her head, letting out a sigh.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't be telling you this. It was a private matter, and...
No, it's okay. It's okay. I may not agree with you. I agree with you. You deserve freedom, but not right this second. Not right when Diana wins the war. Not right now. Because that's another matter to be worried about later on. I'm really sorry. I really think you should wait. Because if she does the freedom, I don't want to see everyone that you love, every animal demon being killed over something stupid as to let them free. I really don't want to see that happen. It's alright. I understood perfectly. The situation was indeed a mess, but something told me that they would be able to figure it out. Rabbit and Diana were smart women after all. Rabbit looked at me in surprise before smiling slightly and nodding.
Right.
Rabbit finally shook her head and let out a sigh.
Well, now that I'm done with my, business, shall we get to training?
With a nod from me, we spent the day forgetting about what had happened and focused on working on my stamina and power with my animal guardian. It became easier to direct, and it even became intelligent enough to defend me if something tried to sneak up behind me. I was thankful for my new companion and felt ready for the siege ahead. I finally arrived at my room, but as soon as I entered, something wasn't right. I felt something was off just from stepping inside, but there was no one there. Was I just exhausted and imagining things? I cautiously entered, looking around. Nothing seemed to be out of place visually, but my nerves felt on edge. What was happening? Hello? Despite feeling silly speaking to an empty room, I had to see if anything, or anyone, would respond. Maybe they were hiding. Maybe something was creeping around and would be surprised by my voice. There was no response, but I still didn't feel easy. Something was seriously wrong. Investigate it. I shook my fear from my mind and took a breath. This was not something to be scared about. I was sure of it. I walked further into the room only to hear the door slam shut. I turned around, seeing the door closed, making me panic a bit. Hey! Before I could walk over, however, I felt the energy in the room freeze. What? I looked around, not unsure of what to think. Whatever was here had succeeded in trapping me, so I needed to deal with whatever it was. Baring my teeth and stepping further into the room, I scanned the room for any movement. Who's there? What do you want?
You do not belong here, human.
The voice that replied sent fear rushing through my body. I looked around to try and pin down the direction of the voice, but it seemed to just echo around the room. Who are you? What do you want?
You meddle in things beyond your comprehension. Why must you attempt to toy with destiny?
I remained silent for a moment. This was an angel speaking in English to me. I didn't know why it was speaking to me now after they had attempted to wipe my memories and haunt me. Still, at least I would be able to learn more as to why. I glared into the room and continued to look around. I'm not toying with anything. James chose to stay with me, and he and I are going to be married.
Raestro's fate has been set. You have no place in it.
Not the chains! Not the chains! Before I could react, I felt myself become enveloped in chains. I looked down to see my entire body wrapped in lines of white and gold chains, squeezing me tightly, and I winced in pain.
Your mind is protected, but the spell will not last. Once it is fated, you will be properly baptized.
No!
Love, what is going on in there?
James, help me! I stared at the door, hearing James bang against it from the other side. The door was locked from the outside, too? I glared at the door before shutting my eyes and calling out his true name. Raestro! No! With a flash of light, James appeared inside the room, shocked but suddenly enraged at seeing me in chains. Before he could rush forward to help me, however, his body was wrapped in chains as well. No!
Ah! What is this?
You cannot defy your destiny, demon.
My destiny?
I pulled against the chains around me, hoping to somehow break free. Despite it being to no avail, I continued to thrash and pull.
Your destiny is to rule this world. You cannot escape it.
My destiny is of my own making!
Your destiny is set in stone.
The room around us began to glow and blind us, and we were forced to shut our eyes tightly. Gah!
No matter. We will cleanse you both soon enough.
I don't need cleansing! I could feel the chains drag me beneath the ground to some sort of space. Cold waves rushed against my skin as I was dragged through a void I could not see. Where were we being taken? I didn't know how long I was out for. I had no way to tell how long I had been unconscious. All I knew was that James and I were in trouble. What was going to happen now that we were prisoners of the angels? Nervousness sank into my mind as I could do nothing but float in the empty darkness created by the angels who had confined me in a cocoon of chains. Slowly, my nerves came back to life and I found myself awakening from the dark. What I didn't expect was to no longer feel chains around me, but soft, familiar silk beneath me. What the? I rubbed my eyes and slowly opened them to see a familiar gray ceiling. It couldn't be. No. We're in our room! What the fuck is going on? Sitting up, my heart caught in my chest. I was back in my room. I was in the human world. How was this possible? Where was James? I jumped out of my bed and rushed to the door, pulling it open. James? I called out, but heard no response. I rushed to the lobby and looked around to see it still intact. The air felt familiar and real, and I wasn't imagining things. I couldn't have been. At the same time, I knew that the curse hadn't been lifted. Okay. I couldn't have returned to the human world unless I died. Was I dead? I began to panic. What was going on? That did not sound right. Okay. My heart stopped at the sound of Diana's voice, more so from the moan that somehow reached my ears. I turned to where the sound came from, realizing the direction. The library? I rushed over and quickly pushed the door open, running inside. What I saw made my heart tear instantly in two. Oh no. No, 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 no! I'm going to go cry in a corner now. Bye. On the ground were Diana and James, both in demon form, embracing each other. This is gonna hurt to say. James had his face buried in Diana's neck as she clawed at his back, arching against him and moaning into the air. This hurts. This really hurts. This couldn't be real. This wasn't real. Before I could scream, time seemed to freeze, causing the room and world around me to become still. I looked around, realizing that I could still move, and turned away from the sight.
Do you know why I am showing this to you, human?
Fuck you! Fuck you, man! Fuck you! I hate you! Fuck you! If this was the angel's attempt to prove me something, it was sick and twisted. There was no reason to show this to me, especially when the one I was marrying was engaging with a woman who had wanted to take him away.
This was the time when Rystra was destined to return to the abyssal planes. Isaiah would have convinced him to go home, and they would have consummated their engagement before returning to take their birthrights.
Do I look like I give a fuck? No.
It is the truth. The only event that stopped it from happening was your voyeurism and intrusion.
Because I loved him! Could you blame me for falling in love with a demon? I will not let him go.
How selfish. Humans are all selfish creatures. But that is to be expected when safety is handed to them on a silver platter.
The angel was toying with me and I despised hearing every word it spoke. I turned back around and focused my attention on James, knowing that this was fake and remembering the real scenario.
Do you understand the full consequences of your actions?
I regret nothing! Upon my final word, the room went black and began to reek of blood. I started to gag and cover my mouth and nose at the horrid smell. What was happening now? Where did the angel take me? I followed Diana's voice to see a crack of light slowly open, revealing Diana. Her face was painted with worry and concern, but upon opening the door, her expression shifted from concern to absolutely broken shock. From the light of the door, I was able to finally see the room I was in. Blood covered every surface, gore decorated every inch, and I was standing in a couple of feet from the center, where three objects laid. barely coated in blood. At the center were two broken adult-sized crowns and a smaller crown, large enough to barely fit a newborn's head. Same thing we saw in Diana's route. Diana's eyes darted throughout the room, both in disbelief and in utmost horror. She barely forced herself to step into the room, dropping to her knees in front of the items and bringing them to her chest.
No! No!
My heart broke at the sight of Diana. Tears were streaming down her face as she clutched the crowns against her chest.
Your selfishness cost a kingdom their beloved rulers, and a daughter her only family.
That's what happened in Diana's route, okay? So shut the fuck up. Apparently I have nothing to say. Okay. I couldn't say anything. I wanted to fight and shout back, and I still didn't regret taking James away. But seeing Diana completely broken silenced any will to speak.
I see that you're beginning to understand.
What's done is done. I remember Diana's voice echoing in my memory. She had moved on and was building the rebellion to eradicate the Demon Lord. As terrible as this was the inciting incident that gave Diana the motivation to destroy the Demon Lord. I looked away from Diana, no longer wanting to see her grieve, and glared into the ceiling. The past cannot be changed.
The past is a reminder of our mistakes.
The past is a memory to look back upon, not bury yourself within. Before my eyes, the room vanished once again, and I found myself surrounded by flames. What the?
Burn everything to the ground!
Fuck you? I hate you? Bye. I looked around, trying to find the source and direction of the voice. This was just an illusion, but the heat of the flames seemed too real to ignore or shake off.
This was the last thing many lives were forced to see before dying at the hands of the madman Demon Lord.
Stop it! I gripped my head, shutting my eyes tightly. I didn't want to see any more. I didn't want to be here any longer. If this was the angel's torture, this was truly unbearable.
Do you not see the price of your selfishness? You are the sole reason why millions of lives have been lost. You are the sole reason why an entire world is burning.
I'm still feeling the guilt. You're making me feel like total shit. Can you not?
Your love causes death. Your love will do nothing but bring you pain and suffering for all of eternity.
That's not true.
Every minute you hold on to this false hope is another child dying, another kingdom falling, another battle waged.
That's not true. Jesus.
Give him up.
Never! All at once, my head became filled with cries and screams of people I didn't know of. Pain from men, women, and children echoed in my mind as I gripped at my head, wanting it to stop. The heat around me was unbearable. I could barely stand it. Oh my god. Saving. We're saving. Save here, cuz. Back. I truly am sorry, but I love him, but I'm sorry. I want to say I'm sorry. Let's say I'm sorry. I couldn't take it anymore. I was plagued by visions of us separating. I was warned of why I shouldn't be with James. The more I listened, the more my heart painfully understood. This was beyond my control, and this was something I should not have interfered with. I had to give up. No! That's not what I fell to my knees, feeling the flames around me fade away and be replaced by a room full of falling feathers. I covered my eyes and sobbed, feeling my heart dying. I loved James, but this was too much. No! I was only human, after all. A warm hand placed itself on my head, but I felt no strength to look up at who it was.
You are a human. You do not belong in this world of darkness.
And I see nothing.
May your sins be cleansed for all of eternity, and may the gates of heaven be opened to you once more.
Oh my god. I couldn't listen to him. My soul was fighting me. My mind was spinning. My body wanted desperately to stand. But I couldn't. My heart could no longer take the tragedy this road was taking me on. I needed to stop. I felt warmth envelop my body and a white light take over my mind. I felt my mind slowly dissolve all of my memories. Everything I went through. Everything I had done. Gone. No! An angel's forgiveness. We got the bad ending! No! 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 Oh, no! No! What makes it worse is that according to Michaela, she said that the memories of when me and James were together, our memories are erased, but James's memories aren't. He's stuck to that destiny being with Diana, and that breaks my heart. He can't even return to the human world to get me, and I'm just like, no! No! Oh my god, that breaks my heart so much. But, you know what? I'm not ending it here. I still got a lot of time left, so I can still make the other choice. So I will go back to where we were. To where the choices are. Okay, so instead of saying I'm sorry, we're going to say I love him. So, I love him! No, this wasn't happening. I needed to get out of here. I shouted to the skies, knowing the angel would hear me. However, I rushed forward through the flames surrounding me, hoping to break free somehow. What I managed to do was break through some sort of glass wall, destroying the world around me.
Love!
James! I fell to the floor, surrounded by shattered glass. Shaking my head, I quickly looked up, recognizing the sight before me from a nightmare. James was bolted to a wall with a burned cross over his chest. He stared wide-eyed at me, uncaring of the bubbling heat dancing over the new scar, as cloaked figures turned their heads toward me. I didn't have to look at them to know that they were angels. From what I knew, they had holy magic and could disable demon magic, so fighting with any form of magic I knew was not a good idea. However, I was a human. I had pure physical force. I quickly jumped back up and squared off, ready to take on my husband's captors. In an act of supreme rage, James's body began to glow an intense gold color, the light flickering around his body like a raging flame.
Enough!
Whoa. Demon form! Within a matter of seconds, light suddenly engulfed the room, but blinding everyone in it. I covered my eyes with my arms, trying to block the light to no avail. As it finally faded, I looked up to see James in his demon form with eyes fully glossed in gold.
This ends now!
Whoa. The cloaked figures quickly conjured chains in their hands, but not fast enough to avoid James forming a familiar-looking gold pistol in his hand and shooting down his attackers. What shocked me was how they fell. Whoa. Instead of them falling to the ground as the bullet ripped through the cloaks, the fabric burnt away and the ash vanished into the air as if blown away by the wind.
Filthy demon! Your acts shall not go unpunished!
Send every angel in heaven at me! I will not let you touch her again!
My heart. My heart. Aw, James. You would kill any angel just for me. Okay. Taking the chance, I rushed over to James and wrapped my arms around him at last. My body felt at ease while holding him as he wrapped his free arm around my waist and held me close. I could feel power radiating off of his skin, tickling my nerves. As a large gold pentagram appeared at her feet, a third cloaked being stepped up from the far end of the room. Stepping over the glass I had broken through and fallen on. James tightened his grip around me and aimed at the figure.
You cannot escape your destiny.
As it finished, James fired a shot at the angel. The bullet ripped into the cloak, but the figure did not die like his companions. James didn't seem to care.
That was your one warning.
We do not fear you.
Come after her again, and I will teach you the meaning of fear.
Oh, shit. With an angry snarl that reverberated through the room, the cloaked figure bent forward towards us, showing its veiny hands. From its back sprouted two large and proud white wings, riddled with hundreds of gorgeously placed feathers. However, before the angel could lunge for us, we sank to the ground at last. Escaping into darkness, James gripped me tightly as I held on to him, guiding me through the void we were in. Excuse me. Into the darkness we both sank. I shut my eyes, scared of where we were going, but knowing that everything was all right now, that James was with me. I was safe in his arms. When we finally came out of the dark, we were standing in the middle of the war room, where everyone seemed to have gathered.
Whoa!
Hey, what the hell?
Hi.
Oh my god, you're all right.
Yeah, we are, bestie. James and I looked around, seeing the shocked and surprised faces of the rebel leaders, the Incubi brothers, and their wives. However, looking to Diana, her face instantly melted from surprise to anger. Oh shit! She slapped him! James released me as Diana suddenly marched at him, staring at her with a blank expression. The expression stayed as Diana slammed her palm across his cheek, the sound reverberating through the room. Shit.
Hey! Do you both realize how long you have been missing?
2 days.
Do you realize how many assets we have spent in preparing to find you both?
Diana!
Do not apologize! I don't want to hear it!
Oh my god. Diana turned and walked back to her spot, crossing her arms and curling her shoulders over herself.
If you two had died, this war would have been for nothing.
Yeah, about that. Pretty much gave up my memories last time. So the war definitely was for nothing when I gave it up. I frowned, understanding what she meant. Because of us, the war happened, so we had to take responsibility. However, now was not the time to get angry. Diana, we're back now. That's all that matters. Once again, silence took control of the air before Diana took a deep breath and let out a sigh, relaxing at last. The very last thing I wanted was for Diana to explode about this.
Were they angels?
Yes.
Did you kill them to escape?
2 of them.
Diana turned her head and looked at James in slight surprise.
You realize that killing angels of heaven will put a bounty on your head, correct?
I silently gulped, remembering the angels swearing to punish James for what he did. James didn't seem to be fazed as he wrapped an arm around me.
Let them come. I will not let them hurt her again.
My cheeks warmed a bit as I looked up at James, seeing him smile lovingly at me. I smiled back, seeing the deep and pure emotions he felt for me within his eyes. He would protect me with all of his might, and I would be with him for as long as I could. With a sigh, Diana rubbed her temple and turned around, glaring at me and James. Her look could kill, but I knew that beneath her anger, she was relieved to see us. In a strange way, I could see the amusement behind her hard glare.
Well, now that everyone is accounted for, we are set. We are ready to march on to the Demon Lord's castle and end this once and for all. Are you two prepared?
The realization of the date hit me. If we had been missing for 2 days, then we were an evening away from heading out to the final battle. Fear quaked my core for a moment, but my embrace with James shook it away.
We leave in the morning?
That's the plan. Get some rest, you two. You both need it.
Without letting anyone interfere and interrupt her, Diana turned around and left the room. I smiled a bit, knowing that deep in her heart she cared about us. The other rebels left as well, most likely going to prepare themselves.
Dude, what's on your chest?
Oh, it's nothing. Sam pointed at the cross on James's chest, making everyone look at it. I bit my lip, but James waved his hand dismissively.
A battle scar, nothing more.
Good lie, James.
A scar that still needs to be examined.
Aw, Eric is still caring about his brother. Eric walked along with Damien, and both demons began to investigate it.
All right. Love, you can go back to the room if you want. I'll be there shortly.
I nodded, feeling sudden exhaustion hit me hard. I yawned and waved to the others before walking out of the room, making my way toward our bed. I began to make my way my way back to my room, but stopped as I heard the sound of whispered voices sneak out through the barely open door.
So, we're all in agreement?
Oh, Jesus, not this again.
We have to. We don't have any choice anymore.
Yes, you do.
It will be for the better, I'm sure.
No, it won't.
Indeed.
Shut up. I peeked into the room to see the interior of the library where the 4 rebel leaders stood in a circle. Sergeant leaned against the fireplace mantel while Rabbit and Shadow sat in the 2 empty chairs. Faye, however, floated to and fro from side to side in anxiousness. What were they talking about? Gee, I wonder what they were talking about. I was so engrossed in figuring out what was happening in the room that I didn't notice a figure coming up behind me and pushing me into the room. Who dares? Gah!
My lady, your student tried to listen in.
Bajang! Come on! Come on, man! Ah!
Thank you, Bajang.
Aw, man.
Diana doesn't deserve the throne.
What makes you say that, Rabbit? I looked to Rabbit, shocked to hear her say that. She had joined the rebellion because Diana wanted to make things better. Why does she not deserve the throne now? Rabbit turned fully to me and stepped forward.
We all joined the rebellion to make this world a better place. But Diana has proven that she doesn't care about anything other than defeating the Demon Lord for revenge. She is not a real leader.
Rabbit, come on. I'm pretty sure you have more common sense than that. I know you are wise. This is not you. Come on, Rabbit. You can do better. Come on. Is it because she didn't approve of what you said to her? Rabbit flinched a bit, remembering that I had eavesdropped on that conversation as well. She looked at the ground and let out a sigh.
I joined this rebellion to fix the broken caste system. With Diana on the throne, nothing will change. Demons will still be forced to live as they were, and my kind will continue to be nothing more than slaves and servants.
Rabbit, my child. Rabbit, my child. Do you not understand what I'm trying to say? She can't do it immediately unless you want to see all the animal demons slaughtered. Rabbit, I know you're smart. You're smarter than this. Come on. I can't. Rabbit, I can't. I loved you, man. I want to hug you, but... Oh my god. I know you are wise. This is not you. You can think better than this. The rage in Rabbit's eyes as she looked up at me could kill. I felt myself become fearful of her as she took another step towards me.
If this madness has dulled her sense of duty to the world, and I join this war for nothing, then I will be happy to rid the world of her, if that keeps my kind from being kept under her foot.
She will do it, but in time. Rabbit, this is making me upset, okay? Her cause was noble. I felt myself become lost in whose side I was on as Rabbit closed her eyes and took a breath to calm down. No, I am on Diana's side on this. I am on her side. I'm not on Rabbit's side. As much as I hate how the caste system is and how her family and demons are being treated, I cannot agree with Rabbit. This is pissing me off. Huh? What happened? I was in the hallway on the floor. How did I get there? I was on my way to my room. Weird. I stood up, brushed myself up, and looked around, hoping that no one saw me snoozing on the floor. When I noted that the coast was clear, I quickly continued on my way to my room. I must have been more tired than I thought. I finally returned to our room and flopped onto the bed, letting the events of my time in the Abyssal Plains replay in my mind. I was trapped here, hunted by angels, and soon enough I was about to go marching into battle against the Demon Lord for my freedom. The more I thought about it, the more surreal the feeling became. I was going to be in a room, meeting a powerful adversary face to face, and set myself free of the curse he brought down upon me. At that, I was captured by angels and almost killed by them made the time I spent away from the human world very wild. I felt like a dream, but I knew it couldn't have been one. This was too vivid, too real to be even close to a dream. As James entered the room at last, I smiled and stood, walking over and wrapping my arms around him as he returned my embrace.
God, I was so worried about you.
I was worried about you too. And I was worried about you. We held each other, locked in silence, and unable to say anything more. We had been in a heavy predicament, and we escaped. Sure, we were probably branded now, but we escaped nonetheless. All we could do in the moment was hold each other and listen to our synchronized heartbeats. As the thought of tomorrow danced in my head, I began to fear it even more. Was I ready to go into battle? Was James? Were any of us for that matter? We were about to walk into the final battle of a world war. Would we survive? Would I live to see James afterward and feel his embrace again? Tomorrow brought too many questions to think about, and I became frustrated and scared. Make love to James! Yeah! Smut scene. Giving you 3 seconds to skip it if you want. 3, 2, 1. You still here with me? Alright then, make love to James. The picture! Ah! Ah! Okay, that's enough. I needed to hold him and treat the night like it was the last night of the world. Tomorrow was unpredictable, but tonight was guaranteed. I slowly glided my hands to cup his head, looking up at him and staring deep in his eyes. I felt his hands gently slide across my waist, softly grasping my hips as he stared patiently at me. A rush of courage ran through my body, and I gently pulled him forward and captured his lips with my own. My eyes fluttered closed as I took a deep breath, taking in his scent, his warmth, his love for me. I was blessed to have this man as my own, and to see him claw through destiny to remain with me and be mine. As he slid his hands up my back and hugged me closer to him, I could tell he felt the same. My head tilted back as James began to trail kisses down my chin and onto my neck, causing me to arch my back a bit and press my chest against his. As his teeth lightly grazed my skin, a wild shiver ran up my spine. His hands tightened around my waist and tugged me hard against his body as he ravished my neck and shoulder in kisses and licks. My own hands began to wander in his hair, combing through his black locks. For one more night, I would forget about everything except the feeling of this man and I making love. It wasn't long before James and I wound up in bed with me straddled over his lap with my back to his chest. Us in only our bare minimums. James marked every inch of my body with his lips and tongue, desperate to make me quake in his arms from the pleasure. This doesn't look like we're with my back faced on his chest. But that would look kind of wouldn't want that. Okay, anyways. I couldn't help but let myself grind over the hardening length in his boxer briefs. That was awkward to read. My own core lightening in desire for him and slightly craving to just ravish and ride. However, James's hands drifted along my body, making me submissive to his touch and guidance. I was left to moan and mewl at his fingers, dragging themselves over me and eventually teasing me beneath my clothes. The wild moans that wanted to erupt from me at his strokes filled my head with a lustful haze as James began to enthrall me and kiss hard over my shoulder. I began to bite my lip, trying to control them.
Don't hold it in.
Don't hold it. Let it go. Just let it go. I'm not gonna say it. Nope. As if to emphasize his command, he began to remove our last articles of clothing, turning me around in his arms and pinning me against the bedpost. I had to wrap my legs around him to keep myself up as he pressed my hips against the wood of the bed. Jeez. I looked deep into James's eyes, becoming lost in them as I finally let go, feeling him take me at last and letting the pleasure ripple through my body in waves. My arms wrapped themselves around his neck, and he pressed me against the wall and began to drive into me in a loving but hard fervor. Okay. My energy was slowly draining, but I didn't care. My mind was becoming a mess, but I didn't care. All I gave a damn about at that point was James and I holding each other and riding through the immense pleasure between us. James knew everything about me, how to make me melt, how to make me keen. He loved to use everything in his power to make me feel absolutely loved and amazing, while I did my best to make him feel the same. Even as the end began to crash through us, our eyes spoke volumes of our deep passion and love for each other. My heart pounded wildly for James, and I dared to claim him as mine. He was completely and utterly mine, and I was completely and utterly his. Joyful tears gently dripped down my eyes from the feelings bursting in my heart, but I gripped James close, desperate to not to let go. He did the same, pressing his lips to mine and capturing every loving sound I made for him. I lost count of how many times we let ourselves go. I became absorbed in his kisses, his touches on our body, our love, that I was barely able by the time it all ended, with his arms around me. His breathing became my guide, and his body my solace. My hands gripped to him as his body naturally cuddled close to him, taking in his warmth. A small chuckle echoed from him as James petted my hair.
I love you so much.
I love you too, James. I will never let you go. We would survive. We would be okay. I felt safe in James's arms, and I'm sure he felt safe in mine. We would return to the human world and be okay. Tomorrow would decide everything. And I'm going to stop for this episode. Next video, the finale of James's route, the ending of the war. We're going to get to that all in the next video. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more of my videos, then click subscribe. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!